And what's happening, guys? Welcome along to another episode of 420 News. Yes, there it is. Oh, it's there. Yes, look, see. New little addition to the show. Yes, I was playing around with some of the Adobe features that I had there last night, and we made a new little spinning green globe with 420 News in front of it. So I hope you like the new addition to the show. Welcome along, guys. It's been a week actually since I last went live for a proper episode of 420 News. On Monday, I was just really busy with college stuff, and on Wednesday, as you probably might have seen, we were above an Arklow for a little day of civil disobedience. So yes, it's great to be back here now in the chair, to be actually doing a proper 420 News. I never realised last Friday it would have been a week. Until I got to do another one. So yes, ever more needed now is going to be a bowl of civil disobedience to get back into the festivities of the 420 News. Yes, I scored a bit of hash there as well off of, will she zoom in? On focus. There we go, yes. It's a nice little bit of hash there that came in all the way as, we zoom in, we get a better, just look at it. There we go. Now, that should do the job. Yeah, nice hash came in from Spain apparently. So posted in, Mr. Old Postman doing the job. But lovely soft hash too. Can literally just peel away into it here now with my fingers, like just peeling it off. Topping up the bowl, get an old cocktail going here for this evening. It is Fri-High-Day after all, guys. Hope everybody's blazed up and got their herbs at the ready. We're 3 minutes past 420, so you're all probably well into it. I haven't had a bowl in about 3 or 4 hours, so I'm looking forward to this one. Oh, there we go. Have to be careful, make sure we don't drop the hash. Who's out there in the audience anyway? We see Linda's up there. What's going on, Linda? Linda saying hi from Mullingar. Shout out to everybody up in Mullingar, including Linda. I hope you're well, Linda. Nice one for tuning into today's 420 News. We also have Podges out there as well, telling everybody to hit that like button, guys. Mark Andrews out in the audience. Toto Frost, what's going on? Toto Faust, I believe. I keep trying to call you Toto Frost, but there's no R in there. Silly eyes, Martin. But Toto Faust, Faust, I would imagine Faust. A junior. So welcome along, Toto. Hope you're well. Hope the dogs are doing good, man. Yeah, hope the old Galway coastline is treating you well. DB Woodcraft is also out there. What's going on, DB? We have Monsieur Fudge in the audience as well. What's going on, Monsieur? Podge, Sean. What's going on, Sean? Pamela's out there as well. Welcome along, Pamela. Hope you're good. We'll be covering our action a little bit later on in today's 420 News. Just still busy here putting the hash into this. Kind of keep putting it in when I'm reading your comments, and I think I've put in more than what I need now. Can never have too much though, really, can ya? Hype, you're a fucking legend as always, man. Keep keeping that donation train rolling. Nice one, Hype, as always. Really do appreciate those donations coming in. Helps keep the lights on, but more importantly, it's given me an opportunity not to have to spend my own money in this fight for cannabis legalization. But more importantly, I suppose it's giving me a kitty that I'm hoping to use to open the doors for a cannabis activist hub here in Cork City very soon. Been working with my young Jamie out there, Russell, and we'll be banging our heads together on how to do this, how best to do this. We were talking about it on the road up to Arklow the other day, so we had a long journey, a good conversation around it. There is worries there that, you know, as soon as you open the doors that the cops going to raid it, but feck it, if they do, you know, that's going to be publicity for your club, and we have a right to form an association, so they can't not allow us to do it. It'll be very interesting to see how it plays out, but we'll blaze this one out up there now, and we'll get through the rest of the names then in a couple of seconds. Oh, very tasty. I'm actually going to get the hemp wick going here because kind of conscious when you're trying to burn the hash in the bowl, you have to keep the flame on a bit longer, and I don't want to be breathing in all that gas, so a little hemp wick here instead. Yeah, that was a proper hit there now. God, I love the smell and taste of hash when it's burning in a bowl. Oh, yes. Those bowls of hash as well, like they just go on forever. Actually, still smouldering here. Waste not, want not, huh? Yeah, yes, that was lovely. Nice one there. I got to give a shout out to King Crop 420. Give him an ad over there on Snapchat if you want. That's who hooked me up with this lovely bit of hash. King Crop 420. I'm hoping to catch up with King Crop 420 and have him on the podcast for a bit of chat. But more interested as well in getting on one of his workers. He was filling me in on one of his workers, and I won't actually go into it any more about it, but they had an unfortunate incident, and I believe they have a very good story to tell. So I am going to hopefully catch up with those people and cover their stories, because they need to be told, this war on drugs, the suffering caused, that needs to be highlighted, and the only way it can be done is if people speak up. And Podge, nice one there as well. Noticed the super chat coming in there as well with the 2 Irish flags attached to it, so I'll pop it up on screen there again. Podge, legend, nice one, Podge, much appreciated. And Podge doing some stellar work out there, in fairness. I should be sending donations your way as well. We need to get the Tidy Buds up and running, get an official kind of a formal group up and running there, so we can get funds and get supplies out to people, get more yellow vests, get more picker tools, and just get more organised. So yeah, a shout out to the Tidy Buds there, of which Podge is just one of the soldiers in that army, keeping the streets of Ireland clean. Feckin' legends, yeah. Right, back to the shout-outs. Mustaways as well, saying, Story Martin, hope you got college work sorted. Great to see the plantation in Arklow. Nice one. Yeah, it's good to see that plantation. I wish I could say that the college work is sorted, but no, sadly, there's still a mountain left to be climbed in that. But feck it, we'll get through it one way or the other. Ken Green is out there as well. Skatanist, what's going on? Hey yo, hey ho, and hi everyone. Time to roll. Nice. Podge is out there as well. Irish Hemp Harvest, Guru Gangsta, Goat, For Grace, Christy Casey, WRT Gunner, Darren Vickers, what's going on, Darren? Hello, Martin, from Darren from Arklow. The planting. Hope you appreciated the plants there in Arklow, Darren, and maybe you might have got out to get one before the Gardaí came and took them away. I know that they're missing now, as per the update that we got there yesterday on Drive Time, the RT radio station or radio show. Pat Casey was on there and he said, yeah, the plants have since been removed, but he didn't say who by, so I don't know. Did you get one, Darren? Who else is out there? John O'Regan, what's going on, John O'Regan? Shout out to the guys in Kilkee. Who else is out there? JW Hillpower, what's going on, JW? How are we all keeping, lads? Looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow in Killarney. Nice. I believe that's Joe, is it? What's going on, Joe? Look forward to tomorrow, Joe, man. Hopefully the weather and situation improves. Otherwise, we'll be there with our rain gear on anyway. We'll show up nonetheless. Who else is out in the audience that I haven't shouted out to yet? Dan Monahan, what's going on, Dan? I had a day off today and smoking and making tunes. Hope you're well. Nice to hear, Dan. Hope you're enjoying your Friday afternoon and roll on into the evening. Hype is out there. Scals, what's going on, Scals? Have to wait another hour to get high. No. At least you can tune into some good vibes here on the podcast anyway. Get you warmed up for what you have to look forward to once you get home. I'd imagine it's work keeping you from getting high. Others out there. Russell's out there. What's going on, Russell? Welcome along to the show. R420 as well. R420 Supplies. What's going on? Check out r420.ie, guys. R420 Supplies says, never tried the hash in the bong. It's nice. It's super nice. And honestly, it's got to be tried. I'd love to try it the way the boys do it, like in Afghanistan, where they get the charcoal almost, and they just be chucking in lumps of fucking hash, like, and they're just hooting on a big bowl. Like, I'm just like, that seems like fun. But the boys to be coughing up a serious lung. But in fairness, like, the hot box of room within 2 or 3 minutes. Like the whole room is hotboxed. The last guy to get a hit is probably already high just from the second-hand smoke in the room. But yeah, they know how to do it. And shout out to the people in Afghanistan. I hope everybody is safe over there. It's obviously not a good situation. I've seen the Taliban there put out an announcement actually that they're going to be doing their part to stem the production of opium over there. They talk about the production of drugs. But I wonder, does that apply to hash? Like, anybody got a contact there for somebody in the Taliban for me, and we can find out what their position is in hash? Like, are they going to allow the production of hash to continue? Respect the traditions of the old Afghans who made some fucking killer hash, in fairness to them. So yeah, I'd be interested to know the Taliban's position on hash. Not that it would change my position or feelings towards them, but still it'd be interesting to know. But yeah, R420 supplies, definitely try that stuff out anyway if you can get your hands on some decent hash. And King Crop 420 over on Snapchat does post as well. Apparently I've been notified by that. And I've no reason to believe that you couldn't trust the guy either, because obviously you have to part with your money first before the product arrives. So King Crop 420 guys, Snapchat if you're stuck. David Carr, yes, Martin, shout out to Derry. What's going on over in Derry? Nice. I hope you're all well up there, David. Skitanis as well this weekend. I get shit done, promise. Darren, you were with me. Oh yeah, fair enough, Darren. Oh yeah, Darren, sorry man. I don't believe I actually caught your name on the day. So we carried out that action there, like, sorry. So I should have actually caught your name. We're good like that, aren't we? Culchi's out there as well. Culchi 420. I'll die a happy man if I can grow old in a house of my own, growing my herb. The agony of prohibition is unreal. Good on ye. Nice one, Culchi. Hope you're well. Others out there, I believe that's everybody, guys. Yeah, Man Falls. What's going on, Man Falls, over there on Twitch? One of two. You're making up 50% of the audience over there on Twitch, Man Falls. So nice one for that. Right, the hydration is done. Let's get stuck into it. So we've already touched off of the Kerry Cannabis Picnic in the Park for Cannabis Reform Ireland and Bring Alicia Home. Hashtag Ryan's Right should be included in there too. And hashtag My Mammy Needs Her Medicine. Because this protest is for all of the reasons why cannabis prohibition needs to end. The environmental reasons, the medicinal reasons, and, if you want, I won't say it's the recreational, I'll say the social justice reasons, because the Gardaí stopping and searching you at the side of the road, it's an injustice. So the social justice problems, all of those reasons is why you need to be down there in Clarny tomorrow. You might need to bring your rain gear, bring your umbrella, bring your, whatever you need. But don't be afraid to get down there, stand up for your right to access to cannabis, to your right to grow cannabis, Let our people grow. So that's tomorrow, guys. Yes, the 21st of August, tomorrow, 2 o'clock, the Clarny National Park. So do your best to get down there. And I really hope to see many of you down there tomorrow, guys. I know many of you are already planning to make your way down. But anybody who is unaware of it up till now, get it into your diary if you haven't already done so. And Mustawes as well. Nice one, Mustawes. I see that donation coming in there a few minutes ago. Mustawes saying, you get a plant and you get a plant. Everyone gets a plant. Nice. There's a plant for everybody in the audience, guys. Yes, welcome to Martin's Late Late Show. Or the toy show, the plant show, that's it. That's the plant show. There's a plant for everybody in the audience, courtesy of Mustawes. Legend Mustawes, thanks very much, pal. Right, we drive on from there, guys. So shout out again to JW, Joe Williams, and the guys at the Kerry Cannabis Club. Well done for organising this. And yesterday, guys, or not yesterday, sorry, on Wednesday, myself and another lash of activists went out there into Arklow and we planted a number of plants. And here's a picture of the gang. That's myself. Young Jamie in there as well. What's happening, young Jamie? We got Kenny Tynan in the centre. Next to Kenny Tynan then is Jen Devlin, and then the next patient there, or campaigner there, is Pamela Barnes. Pamela, who's out in the audience there as well. So guys, we went up there on Wednesday. We brought 5 cannabis plants with us. I transported 5 cannabis plants from County Cork right across the island of Ireland, pretty much 3/4 of it anyway, up to Dublin, and then we went back down into Wicklow again. A lovely journey you have to make in a lovely smelling car. Quite happy to do it too. We arrived up there, we met up with the other campaigners, Kenny, Pamela and Jen. And I suppose that it's worth mentioning too that the cannabis plants were donated by another generous campaigner who did take the risk of growing them in their home. No small risk to be taking either, so you know who you are out there. Don't want to be bringing any unwanted attention to you, but well done for getting these plants grown. Yeah, we met up with the campaigners above there, in the centre of Arklow, and we placed one plant in the centre of this fountain, an unused fountain in the centre of the town. And I don't know if you can see there in the back behind us, behind young Jamie, there's a bench, and on that bench is actually a bench where you can sit and chat with a local guard. Unfortunately, there was no local guard for us to sit and chat with there on the day, but we did leave a cannabis plant there for their viewing pleasure afterwards. But after we planted that, or placed that plant there, we then went and planted 4 other cannabis plants in planter boxes on the main street of Arklow. And this was in support, with the support of Pat Casey being a local Fianna Fáil senator. So quite an achievement to make. You know, we're really coming on leaps and bounds. While Pat Casey was on the radio yesterday saying he doesn't really support the legalisation of cannabis for recreational use, he certainly supports the changing of our laws in order to allow more effective access to cannabis. And he was there supportive of that action yesterday, of Pamela, of Jen, of Kenny and young Jamie, 4 of the patients and campaigners who planted the plants there in an act of civil disobedience. So it wasn't just myself. While my act of civil disobedience was acquiring the plants and transporting them across the country, the campaigners done the planting. So we now have 5 people who've actively been engaged in planting cannabis plants in order to raise awareness as to the suffering caused by cannabis prohibition and the better need for cannabis access in Ireland. Pamela Barnes, her son Ryan has a sarcoma cancer on his shoulder. She was just describing it there on Wednesday to me, and it's quite a large cancer he has on his, or tumour he has on his shoulder. And cannabis has improved his quality of life. Pamela says that it's day and night the difference between that boy or that young man from before using cannabis and after using cannabis. The family are now in an incredible financial distress because of the monthly cost of over €1,000 for Ryan's cannabis prescription. If it was covered as it should be by the Medical Cannabis Access Programme or the medical card, that cost would be capped at most at about €150 per month to the family. So we really need to change this. We need Cannabis Reform Ireland, and get sharing, guys. Find the video of the action over on YouTube if you haven't already done so. Get over and give it a share. I'll pop it up on screen there now. 1 second, so you can all see it. But I can't even remember what I titled the video. So 1 second. It's called Civil Disobedience Protest in Arklow for... And the video's playing now. For effective medical cannabis access. So, right, we'll pop that up on screen so you can see it. Boom, there's the picture. Get this down. So, Civil Disobedience Protest in Arklow. That was us bringing the plants across the car park. Brought them up into the centre of the town. And there it is, Pat Casey pictured with us, and there was an 9 ambulance going across the background, of course. It was well timed, feckers. And then we had Kenny speaking, Jen speaking, and also I believe, we didn't get young Jamie to say a few words at all, but young Jamie did take a plant, and go plant it. Go on, young Jamie. Legends, the lot of them. So check that video out, guys. Give it a share on social media. 776 people have seen it so far. Let's get that number rising. Let's get more people aware of this campaign that's going on across Ireland. The willingness of people to engage in civil disobedience to try to bring awareness to the suffering caused by cannabis prohibition. It's worthy of your shares. So get it done, guys. So we drive on from there, guys, and in other news, we have More scaremongering. Yes, more scaremongering by the media. Children under 6 years of age hospitalised after consuming cannabis jellies, and this was put out on RT News on their website. A big piece there highlighting, the rise of children being brought to hospitals over ingesting cannabis jellies. Some of the kids in this story are as young as 6 years of age, and they're being treated at Temple Street Children's Hospital. And speaking out against it, we have Dr. Ike Okafor. And I'm just wondering, why Dr. Ike Okafor is speaking out only about the harms brought on by cannabis ingestion by kids, and not about the benefits. The benefits of maybe seen by, Ryan, of Ava, of Tristan, of Abigail. There's many young people. I suppose Ryan's not a child anymore, actually. Sorry, he's Pamela's child, but he's a young man now. But there's many children that we could be bringing up of who've been using high THC medicines. Yes, high THC medicines. It's not CBD as they would try to lead you to believe. It's the high THC. It's the stuff that people are using as recreational drugs. Yeah. Why isn't he talking about that? Like, why does the doctor get to use taxpayers' money to go on to RTE? And this guy's been on the media loads. I googled his name afterwards, and he gives out all sorts of warnings, and he loves being on the media. Maybe he's a bit of a spokesperson or something like that. But why aren't they doing it? Like, why aren't they speaking to the benefits being seen as to the use of high THC cannabis medicines for the patients who've access to it? Why are they happy to engage in the scaremongering? I don't understand it, I really don't understand it. And then we go on, they were on the media then, or on the radio then as well. A short little clip here from, where is this? This is on Highland Radio, and this is a clip featuring Dr. Dennis McCauley.
I think I would have grave concerns about the immature brain being exposed to these substances. These can have very significant psychological effects. So both in the acute phase and in the chronic phase, I think these are particularly dangerous substances.
Yeah, and they're like, he's bringing up very valid things. He's not saying anything extremely wrong there, but what he's not following up with is these jellies are falling into the hands of kids too easily because of prohibition. If we were to put regulation in place, then we could afford better protections to the young people by ensuring the quality of the products if they were to fall into their hands. But more importantly, putting in place, maybe child protective packaging, put in place regulation to change the way in which these products can be advertised, such as the packages they're containing, not having them as Calibro. Calibro and Haribo, they're very close to one another. The packets look very much alike. Stoner Patch dolls, Sour Patch gummies, whatever they're called, they look very alike as well, But if we were to change the model of prohibition and put it into regulation, we would no longer see these products because there would actually be brand rights. There would be those advertising bloody laws that would come into effect because the Stoner Patch, that's just too much of a rip-off of Sour Patch, and they would sue them. They wouldn't be able to do it. They use the exact same packages. You see the Tegrity Farms, they wouldn't be able to do those products. Do you know what I mean? And then there you go. A lot of the worries of these guys coming on, sounding the alarm bells. Oh, there's kids eating jellies. Oh, geez. But we would allay a lot of the worries by putting in place proper regulations, proper controls, actually control these things you call controlled drugs. It's funny that the control drugs. They're the most under control thing out there. You look at alcohol and tobacco, which aren't really known as controlled drugs, and they're under control. They're regulated. So yes, regulation works. Stop the fearmongering. And before we get away from the fearmongering, we have a little bit more fearmongering, which is a study coming out of Australia, which is trying to link preterm babies and teen cannabis use. They're trying to link now that if you're a woman aged between 15 to 17 and you're engaged in daily cannabis use, that they're trying to say there's a link now to you giving birth to babies preterm, that being before 37 weeks. I believe a full-term baby is 42 weeks. I should know that, really. But yeah, I believe this is referring to babies born prior to 37 weeks, and they're linking that now to the mother's cannabis use between the age of 15 to 17. This is a study that was carried out in Australia where they followed over 655 patients, participants, yes. And because of that study, then they were able to draw a link between babies being born preterm and having been underweight then as a result of being born preterm to the mother's cannabis use. To me, I don't know, like I would want to maybe look in more to the data, but for me it seems like they're clutching at straws. You know, again, this is just another correlation. I wonder how many other positive correlations did they overlook here in this study, you know? Was the study always predestined to find a negative outcomes as to cannabis use? So therefore, as I say, clutching at straws. They're literally, oh well, there you go. There's one. There's a negative correlation we can make. Let's fucking go with it. Let's do it. I don't know. Like I would definitely something stinks. You know, something stinks. And this was the article that they have over there. Go check it out. But I think something stinks, you know. It links to preterm babies and cannabis use. It was out in the independent.ie, and it's a study coming from Australia. Like, well, why are they covering it in the independent.ie? I'm wondering, like, you know, it's just, I don't know. It was done by Dr. Lindsay Hines, research fellow in Bristol Medical School, Sciences at the University of Bristol. University of Bristol, actually, is that the UK? I could be wrong there. I thought that was Australia, this study. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it was Australia. Yeah, for the study, the researchers followed a cohort of 665 participants in Australia who were recruited in secondary school for up to 2 decades. And it says when the participants became parents in their late 20s and 30s, their children were also followed up as part of another study, which then revealed the low birth weight effects of cannabis use in the teen years. So yeah, that's the finding of the study. Like, but it's the latest of like propaganda, really, as to trying to fairmonger on cannabis. Oh, we can't legalize cannabis because we're going to have like a load of preterm babies and underweight, and it's going to be terrible. And it's going to be the next pandemic that we're going to have to deal with because of the liberalizing of our cannabis laws. But like, cannabis is fucking everywhere already. People are already using it. If people are engaged in cannabis use between the age of 15 to 17, then actually largely the blame is prohibition. You know, and if we were to regulate it, that would make it a bit more difficult for people between 15 to 17 to get a hold on cannabis. And more importantly, it would be easier to educate the young people as to maybe the potential harms as to using cannabis before being a fully developed adult. And some would argue up to the age of 25 for that. But then are you saying that we should change all our drug consumption laws to the age of 25? You know, that you shouldn't be able to smoke tobacco, you shouldn't be able to consume alcohol, you shouldn't be able to do any drugs until the age of 25. I don't think too many people would be too happy with that. But yeah, the latest in a range of propaganda coming out in Irish media again to try to dissuade people in supporting cannabis legalization. But look at the effect of not doing it. This is the effect of not doing it. You've bullets found alongside of €144,000 worth of heroin and cannabis, and this was seized on Wednesday in Ballymun. And of course, the Gardaí get up their old tweet about it. And they said over 144,000 worth of suspected heroin and cannabis was seized in Ballymun today following an operation by the Garda National Drugs Unit and Organised Crime Bureau and the Ballymun Divisional Drugs Unit and Revenue Customs Service. Ammunition was also seized. 1 man arrested. Like, why are drugs and drugs and bullets being found together? Like, where there's bullets, there's got to be guns, obviously. You know. And quite a range of drugs, again, you know, bringing into effect actually gateway. So for any prohibitionist out there to argue against legalizing cannabis because it's a gateway drug, why don't you argue against prohibition? Because prohibition is a gateway to other drugs. If you want to go buy cannabis, well, also at the same spot, you're going to be able to buy heroin, you're going to be able to buy cocaine, you're going to be able to buy ecstasy, you're going to be able to buy Xanax, you know, you're going to be able to buy whatever you want, because that's what happens when you go to the black market. All of it's there. You know, even when you go onto the dark web, it's all there, sold side by side. When I go to my local off license, I buy alcohol. I don't buy cocaine there. Obviously, they have tobacco there because, yes, they have a tobacco license. It's regulated, it's controlled. And that's a sensible way to do it. Over in America and stuff like that, where you can walk into dispensaries and buy cannabis, you don't find, well, you might find guns because of the bloody the need to protect the money because they have cash problems over there. But they're registered, they're licensed guns. It's not illegal. Here, this is all illegal. This is not what you want in the streets. Like, you know, where are these bullets going? Like a young fella, 17, 18, just after getting himself a brand new Glock. Got a Glock, boy. Yeah, but I was making a lot of money selling the bags of weed and coke there to the boys. And I went away and I bought myself a Glock, boy, because, you know, fucking Johnny down the road there now, he's been a bit of a spy, boy. And I'm going to kneecap him. And I'm going to send a message there now, boy, and nobody will bunk me again, boy, because I got a gun now, boy, do you know? Decent, boy. That's what's going on out there in the streets of Ireland right now. Like, there's a young fella out there with that sort of mentality, like, that I have to use brutality and violence, like, to enforce my presence in my area in order to get the respect from the people in the area. You know, like, and that's the mentality. So yeah, like the Gardaí doing their part to keep their mission. Let's remind them what their mission is. The Gardaí's mission over the next 3 years is as important as it is simple. Yes, it's a simple mission, the Gardaí state. Keeping people safe as guardians of the peace. Keeping people safe and safeguarding human rights is central to what we do. Keeping people safe will be the guiding principle upon which we will base strategic and operational decisions. Yes, the Operation Tara has definitely got the heart of keeping people safe at the core of it, you know. No, sorry. Sadly, you're not keeping up with your mission there, Gardaí. Absolutely ridiculous. How is it keeping people safe that, you know, you've young fellas out there buying cannabis and heroin and bullets, you know, all from the same spot, like, and you've nothing to do with it. If people want to get heroin, provide a safe and regulated avenue for a person to go and do so. You know, I hear people out there saying, "Oh, if you do that, sure, or the dealers will just underprice it." Well, if there's a person addicted to heroin and if they're, you know, they're down and out, like at the bottom of the barrel, if so to speak, like, and there's no way but up for them, like, just give it to them for free. Provide them access to services which will help them get back on their feet. And you might find over time they might actually need heroin less because now there's fucking things meaningful for them in their lives. That's been shown in Portugal. But, you know, I brought up the story there of the ex-drug addict who still is using the drugs, but he uses much less of them, and he uses them at weekends and stuff like that because he's working now, and he's a responsible drug user, and he won't use drugs while he's working because that's not the appropriate thing to do as a person who uses opiate-based drugs anyway in that regard. So yes, people can be sensible about their drug use. So we need to end this prohibition. If you want to keep people safe, Gardaí, you know, have a talk to your superiors about maybe the operations they have you engaging in, because this shit needs to end. You know, if I want to go get my cannabis, I don't want to be going buying it off of a person who might have bought it off of another person who was also bringing in heroin and bringing in illegal guns at the same time. No, I don't want to do that. That's not keeping people safe by forcing me to do that. Pure decent. Man falls. Mustawa is saying I was offered on the street a few times, not a chance I'd risk it. Yeah, there's definitely a bit of street dealing going on. I'd say it's a bit more prevalent above in Dublin, where you've a bit more tourists than you would down here in Cork. But it's still definitely out there, like, definitely. Where we were in the park the last day, like, and the dude coming by and he pulled a lump of hash out of his fucking pants, like the most nastiest thing I've ever seen. Like, it's like, "Do you want to try it, boy? Do you want to try it? It's the best hash we get in Cork, boy. It's decent, boy. It's the best, boy. Grade A, boy. Look at it, boy. Smell it, boy." You're just like, man, you just pull that out of your jocks, but I don't want to smell that at all, boy. Fuck off. Oh, pure nasty is what it was. It wasn't pure decent at all. Pure nasty. Yeah, Skatanis there saying safeguarding human rights, saying, and he says they're the one trampling all over our human rights and civil liberties. He says, what the F is up with blatant bullshit? Yeah, that's right, like, you know. And there was an article out there as well. Should we name middle class drug users? And it was by a guy over on Gript or something like that, I think it was. I can't find his article there now. Gripped, I think it was called. No. Up on News Talk, they have it as well on News Talk, because Priti Patel in the UK was saying it like that we should name and shame the UK middle class drug users. Was it John McGurk? I don't think that's his name. No, that's not his name. I've seen it a while ago, but basically what the dude was suggesting in his articles anyway was that the Gardaí should stage raids at nightclubs and go in and like arrest people who are in possession of illegal drugs. But in fact what he was suggesting is that the Gardaí go into a nightclub, stop and search every single person in there to see if they're having drugs on them, or is it that they go in there and profile people? You look like a drug user, I want to search you. Like, is he not realising the violation of our human rights which was going on there in calling for such an act? Crazy, like. I can't find the dude's name. William or something like that was his name. A journalist over on Gripped Media anyway. The article was shared over on Facebook earlier today, and yeah, what a pleb, like, in fairness, like to be stopped and searched just because you look like a drug user, that's a violation of your rights. Like, what does a drug user look like? Everybody is a fucking drug user. If you're human, you potentially are a drug user. If you look human, then you're a drug user. Everybody should be getting stopped and searched, but they don't. It's people like me, the hoodies, you know, going around with a fella with a bong in his top, like, you know. Oh man, it's messed up, like, yeah, and the Gardaí are the ones trampling all over our human rights by doing it, like. Right, we drive on. I see loads of comments coming in. Amy Riley saying, was shamefully watching Housewives on Netflix and then went to Amsterdam, and they went to Amsterdam, a hometown for one of the ladies, and she said even though the weed is legal, she grew up not using any. Yeah, that's so true. Like, the fact is, in the Netherlands, they actually have probably the lowest, well, not the lowest, but they've got a pretty low rate of usage for their pre-adult, 18, under 16 I believe was maybe the age, but under 18 probably, compared to Ireland, compared to France, and compared to the UK. We all rated higher than them, and you know, where is it easier to get cannabis? Holland. It's completely, flies in the face of what they make you. They think it would be like if we were to legalise cannabis. You know, we legalise cannabis. Oh Jesus, it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be, it's going to be everywhere. It's not, like, that's what they told you as well about lifting the prohibition of same-sex relationships. Everybody's going to be doing it. Oh my God. Think of the children. Sausages, man. And we drive on and into County Monahan, where unfortunately in County Monahan, a grower was busted with €45,000 worth of cannabis. And here is an old picture of the grow that was shared by the Gardaí over on their Twitter, where they got out this tweet stating that the Gardaí arrested a man following discovery of a suspected cannabis grow house. Well, looking by the picture, I think that pretty much confirms it's a cannabis grow. Like, suspected, like, come on lads, in fairness, like, well maybe the cannabis plants aren't cannabis plants, they're going to be sent for analysis. Yes, they're all being sent for analysis now to see if they're cannabis. I would suspect that they are. And again, not to forget to mention that this was a part of Operation Tara, and where the Gardaí in Castleblayney in County Monahan searched the house and seized €45,000 worth of suspected cannabis plants. And this was yesterday afternoon. Shameful waste of time, like, heartbreaking to think that these cannabis plants, which were once, and you see actually that those are all in auto pots, a nice watering system as well. I've used those in the past, really useful for the lazy gardeners. And it's even more useful when you incorporate it with the Advanced Nutrients pH Perfect lineup. You don't even need a bloody pH meter. You can pretty much trust the stuff, but it's always handy to have it nearby. But in my experience, man, that was unreal. But yeah, like this grow is a nice little grow. A serious bloody carbon filter up there as well. Monstrous size yoke, like. But yeah, there's definitely cannabis plants. But Forensic Science Ireland now, you know how many plants are actually going to be sent to them? Like, do you know, the guards had to get a van down there. What a waste of resources when you think about it. Like, the guards had to go down and raid this. Like, my buddy was telling me that a recent raid carried out here in Cork, they used 17 guards to raid a mother, to raid a mother's home. She had a couple of ounces of cannabis in her house, but she also had 5 kids in her house as well, and they done it in the middle of the day. They went down and raided it with 17 guards. They had there. At least that's the number that I was told was there, and I have no reason not to believe it either. Like, you know, and I couldn't think that it wouldn't be any different, sir. But they probably need it. Like, you know, serious amount of equipment has to be taken down and stored and transported. You know, man, what a waste of time. Like, just legalise it already. End this prohibition. Like, allow this person to go legitimate, to pay for a license, to employ a person. To you know, to do all of the right things. Man, it's mind-boggling at this stage as to why we're not allowing this, and this waste of time continues to go on. But again, you know, just they're keeping people safe. Do people feel safe now? Do you feel safe that these plants are being destroyed? Do you feel safe that there was 17 Gardaí up there taking down this grow operation, while, you know, maybe your grandmother or your mother or your auntie or your uncle, for that matter, needed the assistance of a guard, you know, in that same area? Do you know, was there anybody above in Castleblayney burgled there yesterday afternoon, around the time that this raid was going on, and you were left without assistance by Gardaí? I would love to hear from you if you are. And we drive on anyway, guys, from Castleblayney, where shameful waste of resources here. What's Monsieur saying? Monsieur says, I spent thousands back in the day, and the autopot Wilma systems kept sticking on certain pots due to hard water. Still had to check every day. No gardener should be a lazy one. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely, especially with the nutrients that you be using. If you're using any organic line of nutrients there, these autopot systems are certainly not for you. You have to feed them, hand feed them, really. You can't beat a bit of hard labour. Nothing more organic than hard labour, really, is there? Tara, tick arseholes running amok. Nice. Yes, that's the anagram there for Tara. Operation Tara, tick arseholes running amok. That sounds like our Yardy, alright. Alright, that's the news from Ireland anyway today, guys. The next headline is going to the UK. Green Tea saying, I always hate to see them get taken when they're so far along. Yeah, looking at these plants now, just make them a bit bigger there maybe. Pop them up and screen a bit bigger. Yeah, what would you say, like, by my estimates, I would say about 2-3 weeks into flower. 2 or 3 weeks into flower. They were about maybe 5 to 6 weeks away from harvest. But still, nonetheless, looking at the size of the plants, I would be giving them maybe, what would you say, Green Tea? For me, I would say maybe 6 to 8 weeks of veg time before they were flipped. Maybe 6 to 8, yeah, about 6 weeks of veg time before they were flipped, like maybe 8 max. Like I couldn't see them mean any more than 8 weeks veg time, because they're not even topped or anything like that. So yeah, there wasn't any pruning or anything going on there either. But still, nonetheless, like a nice setup. Like they had cool tubes there as well. Are they cool tubes? They look like cool tubes. The lights that they have hanging up there, or no, they're ballasts actually. They just look like ballasts hanging there midair. Look like cool tubes first. But serious monster of a bloody carbon filter. Right, let's drive on to the UK, where in the UK, the MS Society, a UK charity representing patients with multiple sclerosis, have hit out against the continuing denying of approved cannabis treatment for MS patients. Yeah, that's the MS Society over in the UK. They're hitting out now because of the continual denying of patients access to medical cannabis over there. It's absolutely ridiculous that this is still continuing to happen, especially now that the medicines have been approved. And the medicine that they're talking about here in particular is Sativex. Sativex was approved under the NICE guidelines about 2 years ago. But still, nonetheless, there is about more than 50% of the patients out of reach. And this is because the charity's research found that 49 out of 106 clinical commissioning groups in England are only routinely offering the treatment. So sorry, that is over 50% of the areas over there. So this is what they're describing as a postcode lottery for patients, because many of the patients are outside of the areas that are allowing it, and even those inside in the areas which are routinely prescribing it are still being denied because not all of the patients are getting access to it in the areas. And what a headache it is for the patients over there. And one of the patients whose story was raised in this is that of Chris and Anna Todd. Chris and Anna Todd shared their story as part of this campaign to get more effective access to medical cannabis in the UK. Chris and Anna Todd are a married couple from Hull, and they're both living with relapsing MS. Chris Todd was diagnosed in '99 and has severe spasticity in addition to other symptoms such as mobility issues and fatigue. He says that we've not had a proper night's sleep in years. The best I get is to pass out with exhaustion. I can't function or rely on other people to help with things like cooking and showering. I've tried every medication to help my spasms, but they've either not worked or given me bad side effects like vomiting. He says it's so frustrating that there is a treatment which could completely change our lives, but we can't get it. How much longer are we going to have to wait? Sativex was approved 2 years ago and yet nothing has changed. I can't go on like this, Chris says. His partner then, Anne Todd, was diagnosed in 2005, and she added that I know Sativex is available and it is changing people's lives. It feels like someone somewhere has something against me and won't let me try this treatment that could change my life. And the MS Society is calling on clinical commissioning groups across England to end the postcode lottery of care and make Sativex available to everyone who meets the NHS criteria. And Freddie Cavender Atwood, the policy manager at the MS Society, said that it is completely unacceptable that 2 years after receiving the NICE approval, Sativex is only available to 49 out of 106 health areas in England. He says MS can be relentless, painful and disabling, and getting the treatment you need shouldn't be a game of chance. Sativex doesn't work for everyone with MS, but when it does, the impact can be life-changing. He says right now some people with MS are having to choose between living with excruciating spasms or paying as much as £500 a month for a private Sativex prescription. It costs the NHS under £300 to provide the same dose. Some are even being forced to break the law by buying cannabis illegally. He says this cruel postcode lottery must end, and health bodies across England need to ensure that everybody who meets the criteria is able to access Sativex. Jesus, like an advertisement here for Sativex. The boys at Jazz Pharmaceuticals are bloody delighted, aren't they? Great advertisement here for their product. It continues and says that an NHS spokesperson said that while these are ultimately decisions for local health groups, services should refer to NICE guidelines and offer patients Sativex if clinically appropriate, alongside several other treatments that are already available to those with multiple sclerosis on the NHS. So what a mess, really. Like, you know, it's crazy that it's easier for a patient to get cannabis illegally than it is legally. You know, you're a person like Chris and Anne here pictured on screen, suffering with MS, a debilitating condition, and for them it's probably easier to get cannabis on the street off of a dealer than it is from their local health provider. Shameful stuff, like, really. End this cannabis prohibition once and for all. Like, not only end this postcode lottery, but just end cannabis prohibition. We've been told lies over the last decades about cannabis. The prohibition has failed. It's made a mess. Drug dealers making hundreds of millions, if not billions. You know, yeah, definitely billions when you look at it on a global scale because of cannabis prohibition. End it, like, end the suffering of the patients, end the stigma that these patients face. You know, many patients, you know, Chris and Anne, you know, I imagine when they go into their health provider that they kind of feel a bit shameful, you know, that their health provider is going to be looking at them as like, oh no, they're going to think that I'm just making this up now to get my hands on a bit of weed because, you know, I might look like somebody who uses cannabis or something, like, you know. It's shameful for patients to be stuck in this situation. If cannabis helps them for their health condition, then they shouldn't have any stigma as a barrier there in order to get access to that. And by fucking God, it shouldn't be easier to get her on the street than it is to get her off your doctor. Like, no way. Like, right, and we drive on from the UK. I see Green Tea saying, Martin, I've had home help or respite, and I haven't had home help or respite in 4 years. I'm so tired and I can't let anyone in the house because of it. Like, that's it. Like, you know, how many other people are out there in similar situations? Cannabis is helping them tremendously, but at the same time, because of the legal implications of growing cannabis, they're also at, you know, put off, you know, they're at a disadvantage, if you will. You know, while it's tremendously helpful, there's also like this fucking pain of doing it too, you know, such as not having people over, you know, having services over, you know, to give respite and stuff like that for home help. Absolutely ridiculous, man. So yeah, Green Tea, I'll certainly have to follow up with you there now soon. I've been meaning to get some interviews done, but I've been just up the walls with everything else going on. But I will get interviews. I've been promising them to you for a while, and I'll get them done there now very soon. Right, as I say, we drive on and we go to Gibraltar, where in Gibraltar there was 15 million worth of cannabis resin seized again after a high-speed pursuit at sea. Man, what a fucking headache again. Like 15 million worth of cannabis resin. That's 2.6 metric tons of cannabis resin. Imagine like if this was just allowed to be legally produced and all this effort to illegally transport it wasn't needed. You would see farmers getting a fair trade price for their product, and you would see patients then across the world getting cost-effective medicines, because, you know, cannabis is just easy to grow, it's easy to process, it's easy to turn into a medical cannabis product at the end of the day. If you have to grow it up in yeast or the bacteria in a lab, like, that stuff costs money, and it's like fucking, it's patented too as well, and all of that kind of stuff. Like, you know, it's not easy to put a patent on a plant, so therefore they can't sell it at a high price to the patients. Prohibition, like, what a mess. Like, I can imagine all of this cannabis resin now is going to be destroyed. None of it's going to be converted back into a usable product that could have benefited maybe patients in disadvantaged areas, patients who can't afford the exorbitant cost of medical cannabis. So, oh man. It says 65 bales of cannabis resin in total were seized as part of the operation. A high-speed chase as well at sea. Dangerous, like, you know, imagine if any of those boats were to capsize during a high-speed pursuit, you know, dangerous, like, hitting water at on a high speed, like, chance as good as hitting concrete, like, not good at all. And, you know, like, fucking some lovely hash here at the moment, like, and oh, we're gonna get it on screen again. Go on, focus. Nah, she won't focus for me anyway. But yes, I got some lovely hash there on screen. Oh, what's going on with me comments? Loads of comments coming in. But, like, I was about to smell the microphone. Oh, it's lovely, like. But apparently this came from Spain, and most likely this came from Morocco, and it probably made that transition across that sea. And this was probably illegally done as well, like, you know. While Spain has a grey area, a lot of is it over 50% of the cannabis, this cafes still, or clubs in Spain, source their cannabis from illegal means. Oh, it's so fucking nice though, like, oh, I think I'm gonna have to pack another bowl after smelling that. Right, I'll hit the refreshment and I'll hit the next link. So the next story is it's one I've covered before, actually. This was a story of a Canadian soldier who stupidly, like, gave some of our colleagues cannabis cupcakes, but like, of all times to do it during a live fire exercise, or maybe just before a live fire exercise. Lunatic, like, what were you actually thinking, like, in fairness? If you did do this, like, if what you say was true, like, or did all the boys, all your buddies, all your soldier buddies just literally completely just turn on you and hang you out to dry and say, I didn't know there was cannabis in that. No, I definitely didn't know. But meanwhile, like, you actually had told them all. I don't know what the situation is here. Like, are the soldiers just like protecting one another? And you know, if one of us is to go down, you know, feck it, it'll be only one of us. We won't rat each other out. you know, I don't know what the situation was in it, like, but this was a case anyway in Canada where the Sandra Cogswell, who was a medical cannabis user too, she had a medical cannabis license to use cannabis as a sleep aid. And it said that this happened back in July 2018, 3 months previous to cannabis being legalized for recreational reasons, which makes it all the worse then for Sandra, because the punishment that she could receive, as well as, you know, being what's it called, dismissed, no, disgracefully dismissed from the army, I think is the term that they use when you get kicked out of the army. Dismissal with disgrace, that's the technical term actually that they use. But it could also carry with it a 5-year prison term too. Absolutely crazy. But I suppose why I bring it back up is because she was in court anyway for the crime of giving the cannabis to her things, and I definitely don't advise doing this to anybody, guys. Don't do that. Like, don't make edibles and give it to a person and not tell them that there's edibles. Like, you know, that's not nice. That's a very disrespectful thing to do, in fairness. Like, all right, if you're buddies, like, and if it's like a joke, but at the same time, like, it's like maybe for some friends, like, that's okay, like, but, you know, just be careful, guys. Like, it's not a good thing to do. Edibles are serious, like, they're no joke, and especially if it's like a first time or two. Like, I suppose, yeah, that's where it is. Like, you know, if it's to your non-consuming friend, don't ever do that to your non-consuming friend. Dose them up on lonely. They could be in for a hell of a bad time, and you can completely ruin their chances of having any good relationship with cannabis then thereafter, because they're just always going to have this PTSD about it, like, you know. So don't ever do it. I definitely don't advise doing it, and certainly not before a live fire exercise, because the descriptions here are ridiculous. It says that where is it now? Cogswell. In the video testimony, Cogswell told military police that she had made chocolate cupcakes for her fellow soldiers, but denied adding any cannabis. But during the trial, however, the military court heard that the 5 soldiers at the live fire exercise tested positive for THC, and a wrapper from one of the cupcakes also indicated the presence of THC. The court heard troubling details of the soldiers' reaction to the cupcakes, and this is where why I had to bring it up again. It says that one soldier incorrectly set the timing fuses on explosives. That's not good. Set it for 5 seconds instead of 5 minutes or something like that. That's going to end with a bad bang. It says that another soldier improperly loaded a weapon. I don't know what that actually means. Like, did it fucking put it in backwards or what? Like, but yeah, it says that they improperly loaded a weapon, and a gunner walked out in front of a howitzer. And it says also then that a soldier almost crashed his military truck, and others say that they were overcome by laughter. So I think the guys who were overcome by laughter got off lightly in this one. Like, you know, the fellow who almost crashed his truck, like, you know what was happening? He was laughing behind the wheel and he had to stop. He's like, I just couldn't drive anymore. I was going to crash if I kept driving. I was just laughing too much. But the howitzer, guys, the howitzer, do you know what a howitzer is? Like, I'll pop it up on screen for you in case you don't know what that is. But, like, I just can't imagine how somebody would walk out in front of one of these things, like, you know. This is serious. Like, look at these things. Like, these are serious bits of kit, like.
Oh yeah, that's 3.
I'll just replay that one for you again. Boom. Like, imagine walking out in front of that thing, like. Like, you see the boys when they're going to fire it, like, they all run away from it, like. Do you know? They're like, fuck. Blocking their ears and shit, like. I couldn't imagine being stoned around one of these things, like, and it going off, and you're not knowing it's about to go off. Like, imagine that, like, and you, man, like, talk about getting frights. Like, I would definitely need a change of underpants and probably pants too, like that. The explosions wouldn't be only coming from guns anyway. Let's just put it that way. I would get such a fright. But yes, guys, definitely don't dose up your buddies if they're about to participate in a live fire exercise anyway. That's a long story short there. So we drive on then from Canada And we go to Humboldt County. Yes, beautiful Humboldt County, the home of some of the most beautiful grown cannabis anyway, that I would imagine. It's definitely the thing of dreams for me, Humboldt County. But down in Humboldt County, they've announced that there's going to be $2 million in grant funding available through Project Trellis, and that's to help the local cannabis community to start up a business. That's an amazing thing to do. That's in Humboldt County now, where they're seeing because of the cost of cannabis going down so much, and it's gone down so much that the cost of cannabis now, at wholesale, it's actually less than the cost of production. So a lot of the times the producers in Humboldt County are unable to compete with maybe producers outside of Humboldt County, because outside of Humboldt County maybe they're able to produce it a bit cheaper. I'm not too sure of the economics there in the US. But basically, to tackle that now, there's grants being made available to help startup businesses compete with the products or the problems seen with the drop of the price of wholesale cannabis. They're giving them $10,000 each, at least $10,000, I believe, to help with things like solar power collectors, water storage tanks, and other bits and pieces, to upgrade their facilities to make them more cost effective and to reduce the cost of production there for the growers in Humboldt County. They describe the move in an effort to avoid an extinction of the legacy growers there in Humboldt County. So incredible stuff there, like it's a real turnaround from the war on drugs approach of maybe 30 years ago, where they would have been spending money to go out there and target these guys and flying helicopters over and, going in there with machine guns and shit like that. That those were the scenes of Humboldt County and of old. But this image, nice image here coming up. This is what can be seen there now, cannabis in harmony with nature, Maybe the cannabis grower is probably freaking out and he's standing there before he takes the photo, and he's got his rifles loaded and he's like, "You dare eating my bloody cannabis plants. You're going to be tasty later." But no, let's hope that this there didn't get shot afterwards. But no, nice picture showing the potential. And look at the size of those plants. Like if you can imagine that there is standing, at its antlers at about maybe 6 foot tall. You can imagine those trees there behind it. They're about like 20 foot cannabis plants, like easy, 24, 25 foot. Serious, like you're talking like how many grams are you getting off of that plant? Like that plant is probably going to produce a kilo. Like imagine that, like absolutely ridiculous, like. And it's hard to think how when you're growing it outside like this, that the cost of production is going to be high. Like it's hard to imagine. Sun-grown cannabis organically done outdoors, maybe using some restorative agricultural practices such as no-till gardening. You would imagine that you would be able to grow it at a pretty low cost, especially if you were able to source local amendments to keep the cost down and all of that, keep the carbon footprint of the farm down. I don't know. But anyway, as I said, it's very positive news to see. And on the contrary, here in Ireland, what are we doing to help our local cannabis farmers? We're doing nothing. We had a lot of farmers there on the media last week, or even during the week. There were some headlines there again with local cannabis farmers speaking out as to the struggles faced to them because of the regulations around the plant that they grow. They call it hemp. I call it cannabis. And the source of their problem, it originates with the prohibition of cannabis. If cannabis didn't have to be prohibited, then there would not be a need to license the production of the plant. So what's the Irish government doing? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The reply there from Jen Devlin recently, it indicated that the Irish government have, at least through the reply that she got from Stephen Donnelly's office, that they have no intention of legalizing cannabis anytime soon. That's shameful. That's shameful considering, Gina Kenny's putting forward a bill later on this year, which I really do look forward to seeing. and hearing the debates that happen around it. But it's really shameful to hear replies like that coming from the office of Stephen Donnelly. But at the same time, you know, across the pond, we have fucking grand money being made. And then we go to another positive story, which is coming out of Massachusetts. Yeah, this is coming out of Massachusetts, where cannabis connoisseurs are being called to choose the Cup of Champions. Yes, this is a story coming out of Massachusetts, and it's to do with the Massachusetts Cannabis Cup. And it says over the next 2 months, cannabis consumers across Massachusetts will be able to sample and scrutinize buds, edibles, pre-rolled joints, and more from growers and manufacturers around the state to declare the winners of the first publicly judged Massachusetts Cannabis Cup. Man, I'm so envious. Like, you know, I wish I could like turn myself green here on camera right now, because like I'm really green with envy right now. But because like that's imagine being able to do that here, like, you know, be able to showcase all of the talents of the local growers, of the local producers of this fine crop, much like we do with our craft beers and craft, you know, gins and stuff like that. We should be able to showcase the craft producers of cannabis here in Ireland, and yeah, they're getting to do that now in Massachusetts. In the times of gone by, this used to be done by a panel of judges. Typically around 20 judges used to be doing this, but now for the first time they're opening it up to the public. So a great achievement, and across Massachusetts now, retailers are going to be stocking kits of varying categories. So there's going to be 2,000 kits that are going across the entire state. They're being distributed to 16 retailers, and it is open to everyone and their mother. It says that we want OG growers who have been in the game for a while. We want new soccer moms who are trading out their glass of wine for the joint at the end of the night. And it says we want non-smokers who don't even want to touch flowers, but they want edibles, they want topicals. It says we want the concentrate dabbers. We know who know the difference between terpenes and a rosin versus a resin. It says the judging kits will become available on August 21st. So tomorrow, guys, it's a nice one. If you're over there in Massachusetts, tomorrow, guys, lucky EE. As the participating retailers across Massachusetts open for business. People interested in being a judge can register for updates, but all kits are available on a first-come, first-served basis. Kits range in pre-tax cost from $119 to $239, depending on the category, and will include just about as much as product as Massachusetts regulations will allow. It says the categories are as follows. For flower, you have Best Indica, Best Sativa, and Best Hybrid strains. Then you also have pre-rolls and infused pre-rolls. You have a solvent concentrates category and non-solvent concentrates. You also have a category for vape pens, Indica and Sativa. You also have edibles, including gummies, chocolate non-gummies, and fruity non-gummies. So that's the breakdown of the edibles categories. And then they also have a categories for topicals and tinctures. So there's something for everybody, as they say, you know. For even the non-flower users, for the people who just like to use topicals and stuff, like, there you go. Like, there's opportunities for you too. And it just goes to show as well, you know, it flies in the face of people. Oh, everybody's going to be out there smoking cannabis. Like, a lot of people who use cannabis actually don't even smoke it nowadays. A majority still do, but a lot. Like, you know, it might be a small percentage of them, but it's still a lot of people who use cannabis and they don't even smoke it. It says here each judge will get a High Times branded backpack loaded with their samples and a scorecard with a link and specific access codes for the judging portal. Judges will have about 60 days to scrutinise the entire the entries from the comfort of their own homes. Yeah, that's more like it. That used to always be a criticism I used to have of the Cannabis Cup in Amsterdam. You know, you have to smoke a load of cannabis, you have to try a load of cannabis within a few days from a load of different things. I always thought that was kind of a problem, because when you go from one coffee shop to the next, it's just like, how can you really assess the effects? You need a bit of a break in between, you know. So 60 days they have to make their decisions and give back their reviews. It says they're judging on aesthetics, aroma, taste, burnability, and effects. That's kind of the main criteria, at least for the combustibles, the flour, the vape pens, and the concentrates. And edibles, that actually is judged on packaging and labeling, because we feel that's an important criteria. Putting ingredients, putting dosage amounts, and putting the activation times, things like that is important. Interesting. So that's also included there. They're looking for feedback from participants as to other criteria around edibles, not just the taste of the edible, but also on the packaging of the edible, and the information found on the packaging too. That's actually a good that's a good prize to be winning there. You know, that the most informative edible packaging. That's a nice one. You know, because that would also inform other users or other producers out there how to make their product more informative for consumers, you know? And that's a win-win for everybody, not just the winners. And it says the winners will be announced during a virtual awards show planned for October 24th, and the winners could get more out of it than High Times trophy and bragging rights within the cannabis industry, and that's said by Kaz, the organizer. That's the most recognized trophy or awards in the cannabis industry. So we've had people just increase their distribution, their sales a ton, even their social media following. We've even had people claim they've gotten better commercial space and leasing deals because they were a Cannabis Cup winner. So there you go, a nice prestigious award to win. Yeah, that's it there from that article. Anyway. Oh man, as I say, agreeing with me there. Like the Cannabis Cup over in Massachusetts, like we're not living here in Ireland at all. Like, you know, we're really not. We're still hiding, treating cannabis consumers like some sort of second-class citizen who need to be locked up and taken out of society. Like, what a mess. Like, we're people with opinions, and we matter too. Like, yes, cannabis consumers' lives matters. No offense to the Black Lives Matters, like, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm getting at with that. Like, you know, it's okay to man, what's the word? I'm thinking at discriminate against us. That's the word, man. Discriminate. It's okay to discriminate against us because we're cannabis consumers. But you know, if we were gay, it's like, no, you can't discriminate against person for that. If you're black, you know, no, you can't discriminate against them for skin color. If you're bloody Mexican, no, you can't discriminate against them for race. That's wrong, you know. But oh yeah, no, he's a druggie. Oh yeah, it's an illegal drug. Oh yeah, discriminate away all you want. You know, discriminate away all you want. Right, we drive on because I don't want to rant too much more on that one. And the next headline I have for you guys is, again, out of Massachusetts. Nice Massachusetts adding to the positive headlines of today's 420 News, where entrepreneurs turned an old shoe factory into a cannabis production facility, and it's now one of the largest growers in Massachusetts. Yes, this is the story of Revolutionary Farms. And Revolutionary Farms was set up by Ryan Anson and Keith also here. So Ryan Anson pictured on the left and Keith on his right. The co-founder and CEO of Revolutionary Farms. They set up their business back in 2016 when cannabis was first legalized for medicinal use in Massachusetts. And they've made a lot of money, I suppose, really. Like, it says here that in 2017 they booked 40.7 million, and it only began selling recreational cannabis in 2018, and their profits have since exploded from that as well. Outfitting the facility now, called Revolutionary Farms, took 3 years and over 50 million in funds, which Anson says was able to secure from angel investors who saw the long-term potential in his vision. He says, we wanted to create a model in post-industrial towns to attract new industries, to let jobs follow, and bring energy back to such beautiful bones of infrastructure, which needed a new lease of life, says Anson about the space. I think Ireland has many places like that, don't we? We've many huge disused facilities, factories now, that are just lying idle currently, waiting for use. I would love to be able to be given a license to go down and hire. Many of ye people out there would probably be happy to come work for me too, and set up a medical cannabis production facility, just a cannabis production facility, a cannabis processing facility. I would love to be able to go out and do that, but currently there's no avenue for me to go do that. There is no effective avenue for me to do that. And so therefore I won't ever get the opportunity, not yet anyway, to be maybe like these guys and share a success story for Ireland, as to an old factory turned into, a new vibrant source of jobs for a local community that was once short of jobs. We do know we can use jobs in Ireland, don't we? And I think it was interesting then in this one, because it reminded me of a story that I covered not too long ago in the UK. Where in the UK they had a huge cannabis factory that described it as a huge cannabis factory that had more than 500 plants found inside it, in a disused shoe shop. Yeah, that was a story there over on one of the UK outlets. Was it the Lancaster or the Manchester Evening News? Actually, this was. So just shout out to the UK policymakers there. Look at the difference. This is Massachusetts. Entrepreneurs turned an old shoe shop factory into a cannabis lab, and it's now one of the largest cannabis growers in Massachusetts. Versus in the UK, where an old shoe shop, 500 cannabis plants, all going to be destroyed. No prosperity here. No innovation. No opportunity for jobs. No benefits to the community. Yeah, that's prohibition for you. That's the grim reality of prohibition. This is the success of regulation and ending prohibition, So Ryan Anson, co-founder, and Keith Cooper actually was his name, the CEO of Revolutionary Farms. So go over if you want to give that a read. It's over there on inc.com if you want to give a read of that full story. I'm not going to read all of it, but it is a success story from Massachusetts, and it is also highlighting the benefits of regulation and the need to end prohibition. So that's it, guys. Nice one to everybody for staying tuned in for all of today's 420 news. I did pack up a bowl there a few minutes ago. I got a lovely bowl of herb and ash here. Yes, urban. Some lovely hand-rolled cannabis. Going to lubricate the old bale there first though. Right, we will open up the phone line, will we? Text to the... Where's my phone number? There we go. I'm only just turning on the phone now, guys, so bear with me. Just switching her on. As that powers up, I will blaze one. Yes, blaze it up. I will. So a little civil disobedience protest here, guys, before we get to finish off this show. We'll open up the Martin's World hotline for maybe 20 minutes or so, and then I have to bounce for the Friday meeting with the Patients for Safe Access. Oh yes, we'll get the Hempwick actually going. Yes. See that smoke smoldering up like. Ooh. Oh, wait. That is a serious ball. Again, guys, get on to King Crop 420 if you want to get yourselves some of the hash. Get it before it's gone. I don't know how much of it he's got left, but it's nice. And it has very nice stone to it as well. Like, that's the good thing about the hash is nice stone to it. It's not like, doesn't get you very high, but it's like it's got a good couch, nice sedating effect. It's definitely not an all day time smoke anyway. That's for sure. You won't be smoking that first thing in the morning, unless you wanted to, of course. Green Tea says, my dream is to breed excuse me, breed my own strains, open my own dispensary, and specialize in creating strains for sick people, and the soundtrack for the shop would be old school hip hop. Yeah, I have a dream to see your dream become a reality, Green Tea. I believe many of you out there would also be much like Green Tea and have a dream of maybe playing your own part in your own local community as being a provider to the consumers of this product that we all love so well. So I definitely would think that Green Tea is probably not alone in that out there, in that people would aspire to wanting to be providers of this fucking beneficial herb to their community. Like, why wouldn't you? People are so happy about it. Like, you know, you see people's face when they get a bit of cannabis. They're like, yay. A bag of weed, a bag of weed. Everything's better with a bag of weed. Including exercise. Yeah, that was the results of a recent survey that they done actually in Canada, I believe. Glanced over the article there, didn't really include it in today's 420 news. But yeah, certainly there's indications there that the trend is people like to use cannabis in exercise. Yes. Who would have thunk it? Right, the line is completely open. So yeah, King Crop 420. There you go, Podge. He does postage as well, but he's based in Cork. I don't know if you're getting the bus up or what the crack is, but yeah. But yeah, it's good. It's good. I'm just kind of saying, like, you know, the days of getting like that for 25 quid. Like, remember getting like fucking quarters a hash for like 25, 30 euro. Like, those days are over, man. It's like €10 a gram is kind of what I got it off him for, and that was like a mate's rate. I think it's like 12.50 or something a gram now, or something like that for the hash. Like, but it's like, yeah, I missed the old days, man. I suppose that was so bad as well, but still, like, you know, you're fucking happy with it too. There was good soap bar out there, and I'd say you'd vouch for that there as well. I see Thomas out there in the audience. You know, we smoked our fair share of soap bar, didn't we, Martin? Where do I sign up for some hashish, mate? King Crop 420 over on Snapchat. That's where I picked it up from anyway. And I believe you still got a bit over there anyway. The last time I checked the Snapchat anyway, I believe that there was something up there. Oh, never mind. I just see a post up there now. Won't be active till Sunday, Monday. Gone to Dublin for the match, folks. We were back. I'll have the best haze in the city at best prices. Anyone have a spare All Ireland ticket? If somebody out there has a spare All Ireland ticket, get on to King Crop there for King Crop 420. He might hook you up with some hash there. Nice exchange for an All Ireland ticket. But yeah, seems like he won't be active there until after the match actually now. So sorry about that there, Arthur. Brother. Other comments out there, guys. Just looking through your comments there now. Green Tea, I read out your comment there already. Green Tea. Marie McCloskey says, hits from the bong, so satisfying. It certainly is. Daily Talker says, going to install Snapchat just for that hash. Make sure you give him a heads up. Let him know that Martin sent you, and yeah, he might still want you to verify who you were or something like that. Dude, maybe I don't know. But still, yeah, give it a shot anyway. Pods for 420, jealous of you know, Martin. Like I've said before, been years since I got a bit of street hash. Me too, actually, to be very honest. Like that hash there now was my first time buying hash from somebody around the place in years. Like I'll be honest, actually, last year, at the start of this pandemic, I bought some hash from a dude, and I got about €300 worth off him first, and it was lovely. It was so nice. Like it lasted me about fucking 3 months, I'd say it was. I had a bit of weed at the same time. But I went back and I ordered off the same dude again. I ordered €600 worth off him this time. And he fucking ripped me off, the prick. Bastard. I hate admitting it, to be very honest. Like, I hate admitting it, but this shit happens. Like, some dude met him through the dark web. And, yeah, got fucking ripped off, unfortunately. But yeah, dudes do that all the time, I suppose. Do exit scams with their accounts and shit. Get money in off people and just bunk. Sorry, he got stung. Won't be getting stung again, though. Not too quick, anyway. Like, I'll be fucking slow at the part with my money, anyway, with dudes in future. Once bitten, twice shy and all that. I pay 15 a gram lately. Nice hash, very squidgy. Nice. Now, you see this stuff now, and I'll do a little zoom in a bit, like. Whoop. Ah! There we go. Watch. You see that? Oh, we'll stick that one back together and we go a bit center of it. Ooh. Oh, that smells so nice, guys. That smells so nice. Yeah. Deep Heat 00. I definitely had some of that 00 back in the day as well. Seen bars stamped with that stuff on it. Not a bother, Arthur, man. Hope you're well. Pod 85, yep, I had 2k robbed from me from the black market. What? No way, man. 2k. That's fucking that's a sore one. I thought I was badly stung with 600 quid, like, but 2k, man. Ooh-wee. That's a lot. R420 Supplies says that we've all been stung. Yeah, I'd imagine a lot of people, a lot more than would be willing to admit it, have been stung out there. All right, that's for sure. I know lads who recently getting ripped off with the CBD buds as well, and it hurted them to admit it too, you know. Any other comments out there coming in? I used to pay €8 for Squidgy Black before, until things went shit down here, and that was Podge 85 saying that. And Hype saying, would break my heart. It's €5 to €7 for nice pollen. That stones me a lot more than all of this soft squidgy stuff. Nice, Hype, and that's in Amsterdam, you're saying, though. Yeah, that's what I would have thought as well. Like, I think like €5 to €7 is a good price for hash. Like, I used to love hash, and I always go to Amsterdam. None of the lads used to be buying hash and stuff over there. I used to always be buying a piece of hash when I went into the coffee shops, and I used to always be making lovely cocktail blunts and stuff like that, rolling them up, mixing them together, like, and be clouds coming off of the things, like. But when you're in Amsterdam, you just get kind of carried away, like. Geez, we've gotten into some wrecks over there. And I'll never forget being so high in Amsterdam that I didn't want to smoke any more weed. I didn't think that was possible for me, but it was like we were in the Grand Prix, that place just before you head back to the station, and we were wrapping up before we were getting on the flights to go back. And we were after edibles, man. We were after being smoking, because we done one day in Amsterdam. That was it. We flew out that morning. We arrived in Amsterdam at 9 o'clock and we just went for it for the whole day long. We were flying back to Cork again, or to Dublin it was, at we had to be back at the airport for like 9 o'clock, I think it was. We got wrecked. We absolutely got obliterated in Amsterdam. And I can remember sitting in the damn free place at the end, and the lads were fucking wrapping up their stuff and everything, and I was just sitting there just thinking to myself, I am fucked. Like, I was getting paranoid, and it was intense really what I was feeling, and I was just like to the lads, here man, you can take the rest of my weed, like, wrap it up there, but go on, take it home with you, but I keep it, but I'm not going to smoke it anymore and I'm done. I was obliterated. So it shames me to admit that, but also I suppose it prides me to know I was able to reach that thing. Like, but man, a full day in Amsterdam we did that time. I think I went through easy about maybe €200, I would say, between munchies and smokes. Like, we were definitely buying like grams at everything. That the lads spent more. The lads were doing the Cali stuff, like the lads were buying top shelf, like €35 a gram. I was like, nah lads, I'm on a budget. Give me the budget options, give me your best hash there please, and I'll take your mid-range weed there. Like, that's about, what was it, like about a tenner a gram I was paying, maybe like 13 a gram I think was the tops I was willing to pay for the weed over in Amsterdam. I think the tops I was willing to pay for hash would have been about the same as well. But I was on a budget. The lads were balling and sitting there then smoking, but I'm like, well, you might have noticed this, maybe a bit more taste with the Cali stuff. Like, some of the stuff I was buying for 13 tasted just as good. It's all marketing is what I seen it like. But man, easy, 200 quid anyway that day in Amsterdam. Got obliterated. Munchies, the edibles just took their toll really, I think, is what fucked me up. Yes, couldn't find my hat either, guys. Got my Foxworthy hat on this evening. You all probably noticed that already. Monsieur Fudge says, went to Morocco from France with some squidgy black and they didn't even know how to roll it. What? No way. And Hidden Gardener got stung for $360 for CBD bud last week. No way, last week. Oh man. Skatana saying lost 800 to a scammer and should have known better. Yeah, that's it. Like, and everything done hindsight, like, we all should have known better, but the temptation's always there, really, isn't it? Like, Skatana saying another time I got CBD instead of THC, but I consider that a semi-scam only. At least I got my ounce and was cheaper than CBD bud would have been here. No, yeah. Fair enough. Irish Empire was saying, lads in Cork City getting away with 1 gram baggies for €20. No way, €20 a gram. Stop. I thought those days might have been over, like, but it is the pandemic and all that shit, like, fuck's sake. I've got stuff there at the moment from my buddy, and it's to be very honest, it's not the greatest. I'm very thankful to have some hash to put with it. It delivers on the effects. It gets you high and stuff, like, but it's very airy. Yeah, green screen is going to screw me, but it's like that's not a full bud. Like, if you were to look at that in my hand, like, that's made up of lots of airy little calyxy buds. The heat in the growth tent for my buddy screwed them up, and the buds didn't finish as good as they should have. So they don't taste as nice as what they should have, but they still have the THC. They still, like, deliver the effects, but they're just lacking on the terpenes. You know, and that's important. Like, you want the terpenes, really, like, you know, it's rather disappointing. So as I say, I'm definitely intending to put the little bit that I got off him to use as edibles, probably more than to my bong. So oh, sorry guys, if you want to give a buzz back there, I think I noticed 2 missed calls on the phone. Did I? Sorry guys, give a buzz back there if you want. Yeah, that's my bad. I don't know why it didn't ring on my ears, but yeah, my bad. Give me a buzz back there if you want. I'll keep the line open for 5 more minutes. I'm going to pack up one more bowl there. And we get going then. We leave you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Podge 85 is saying Amsterdam is the only spot you will turn down smoke as you're stoned. Fact. Yeah, I wouldn't be doing it here maybe. Not too easy. DP saying Tenerife, some smoking clubs over. Nice. Yeah, I've not been to the smoking clubs yet in Spain. I've not tried any of them. I have to do it very soon. Like I keep saying it, like I really do have to do it. And we'll document it. It'll be a educational tour. And anybody out there, if you're watching this and if you're over in Tenerife or any of those places in Spain, and if you're associated with clubs and if you want me to come visit, give me a shout. Scatanist, although I had to bury some weed under a bush in Budapest at the airport parking lot once. Nice. I wonder if it'll be there if you ever go back. Marie McCloskey, Ireland for the New Holland. One day would wax you. LOL. I need at least 4 to count in all of the. And count in for all the highness and holidaying. Perfect kush everywhere you go and super potent. Happy memories. Good to hear you've got some good memories out there anyway. Is that Marie McCloskey? Pods 4420 saying, hope I can get over to the dam again soon. Then again, I want to do a lot of things soon. Let me know when you're going, Pods. Give me a shout, guys, if anybody's planning trips soon to Amsterdam or Spain or something like that. Who knows, you could tempt me into the coming. I'm definitely looking at trying to get over there anyway, that's for sure. Finish college there now very soon as well, so that will free up more of my time, so make it a bit more easier. Green Tea says that's why dry timbering is better. Keeping leaves on for the drying protects the terpenes and stops the bud from drying too fast, so the chlorophyll can break down. Yeah, I think the problem, unless you're applying to somebody else, but for my body it was 4 weeks into flower, and the heat wave kicked in and it just screwed them over. Right, we have a caller coming in. Who shall this be? Hello, welcome to Martin's World.
Hello.
Hey, GB.
So I was wondering, how are we going to up it next time?
Oh, no, not GB. That's Russell. It sounded like GB there for a second. You sounded like Greenbird for a second.
Did I?
Yeah, I thought you were.
How are we going to up it, man? Yeah, we should outsource it. We should put it to a vote. Start a straw poll. Be like, what should we do next?
I think we have to put a cannabis plant on Stephen Donnelly's head.
That would be good. I would like that.
I think you just like gently place it there so we don't hurt them, so they can't like be violent.
Excellent. You should do it, man. You should start a straw poll. You should be like, what should we do? We give a prize for the best idea.
Yeah, well, we do need to be continuing with this campaign anyway. Gino Kenny's bill is going forward there very soon, and I wonder what will happen, you know, with that bill. I wonder will it get the support it needs, and I think we can get it the support it needs if we continue to engage in this campaign, and just get bolder and braver every time, but peaceful and civil all the time.
Bolder and braver. Everyone, bring everyone tomorrow. What is it? 200 people is the max we're allowed, is it?
Well, man, it's a protest. Like they say, 200 people is the maximum allowed for an event. But this is a protest, like, so there shouldn't be any limit. But yeah, the Gardaí did say to me the last day, over 200, and they were going to come in on us. So yeah, we have to keep that in mind.
Let's just get to 199.
Yeah, that's it. Like, yeah, whoever's going around with the clicker, just stop.
199 to the list restrictions. Yeah, or just multiple protests, multiple towns, same day.
Yeah. It's kind of like it was in Dubai where when the temperature goes up to over 44 degrees, they get the day off. But since they put that rule into effect, and the temperature never officially went over 44 degrees.
Oh, Jesus.
So we just never go over the 200.
I'll leave someone call in before you go on to your call there.
I'm just packing up a bowl anyway. This will be my goodbye ball. Thanks for this will be my goodbye ball, so I'm just packing up a bowl here now.
Nice. Man, I'm going to have to try that in the bowl. That looks nice.
It is. It's quite tasty. Go on, enjoy your evening, Russell, and thanks for the call, buddy.
Take it easy. Good luck.
Peace. There we have our young Jamie calling in, asking how we can escalate this. What do you guys think out there? What do you think we should do next? 2 separate groups, Hidden Gardeners, that is it? Conduct a clinical trial? Donna saying... Is that what you're saying, Dan? To conduct a clinical trial? That's what we should do next. Yeah, that's an interesting one, all right? But I think that the problems with conducting a clinical trial are still... Prohibition exists. It's very hard to do it, you know, the barriers that are there. There was an article up there recently talking about the psilocybin mushroom studies that are currently ongoing in Ireland. If people aren't aware of that, there's psilocybin mushroom studies currently ongoing in Ireland. But one of the researchers was talking about the problems that they encountered in trying to get the study up and running. It took them, was it a year, maybe 2 years to get all of the boxes ticked and to get the license they needed to access psilocybin to carry out the research, you know. So there's a big problem there. They don't want to give out the licenses. They don't want to let us bloody do the research. It's just ridiculous. But I think that's a good one, like. But for us as campaigners, as activists, what do people think? Skatana saying, set up a support protest when Gino presents the bill. Yeah, I think that one's a given anyway. That is going to happen for sure. Everything that's legal have to have the clinical trial proof. Yeah, no, I can hear that as well, Dan, and I can definitely echo those calls. There is need for more clinical studies to be done in Ireland, and once we get rid of this prohibition, I don't see there being any more barriers really in place to it. You know, as a researcher, you should be able then to get access to it because it's no longer behind the barriers of a controlled drug, you know, a narcotic and blah, 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 all of the lies. Green tea, massive public awareness campaign. Yeah, we're pushing that one, all right. Any ideas on how to improve it? I suppose really like the only escalation I can think of myself is just more patience, more people. You know, imagine like we had 5 people there now the other day engaging in civil disobedience. But what if the next protest is one where we get 100 people? 100 people who all want cannabis prohibition to end, and we all go to the local Garda station together, and we all bring in a little piece of cannabis, a tiny piece of cannabis with us, and we present ourselves with it. That can be CBD cannabis. Hell, it could be fucking, I don't know, a leaf off of the plant even if you wanted to. Bring it with you. Bring some oregano in the bags too and pretend it's cannabis, like, you know, we just do it like civil disobedience, and we all march into the guard station, and it's just like, oh my God, the guard station shut down today because 100 campaigners went down there against the prohibition of cannabis, and they wanted the Gardaí to do their job by engaging in civil disobedience, and, you know, it'll be interesting, you know, it'll be interesting. Right, we get one more bowl into us, and we will love you and leave you, because I know the guys at the Patients for Safe Access are started and all shit. It's 5 past. I enjoy hanging out here with you guys too much. Green Tea saying, we need lots and lots of people to go on rural radio. We need patients to come out and start spamming news talk. I am currently writing to a journalist. Yeah, guys, more and more people need to come out. More and more people need to share their own stories and personalize it. That's really going to help change things. The more people that do that, the more it's definitely going to help. Skatana says, but what really impactful action can we do until that? September is pretty free there. Yeah, we've the whole of month of September. If he's not going to submit the bill until October, yeah, we've a whole month of actions there to be looking to fill up. And I hope people have their thinking caps on out there and are going to get active in their own areas, you know. I'm really hoping to see an announcement from the major smoke up guys as well. That they're hinting towards doing something there for September, but I haven't seen any announcements from them yet. So hopefully, we think they're coming down tomorrow anyway. So we'll chat to them there. All right, we're going to blaze up the last bowl there, and we'll love you and leave you. Oh, you see, we have a few Monahan natives out there in the audience. All right, everybody in Monahan, hope you're all good. All right, this is still smouldering. More closely prove the environmental benefits like drying out bogged out land, tying up riverbeds, preventing erosion. A serious problem in Ireland. Prove it can clean pollution, and you have a great argument. You don't need to prove it. That's already been proven. We already know that cannabis is an amazing bioremediator, especially in places that have been maybe polluted with heavy metals and stuff like that. So yeah, there certainly is benefits there. I think that the copper mines maybe might be one place that you could be using plants to be removing some of the heavy metals there. So yeah, no, there's definitely benefits to the cannabis plant and growing more trees as well, just in terms of the environment, I suppose, because we all need to wake up to that one as well. But that's an argument maybe for somebody else's podcast. We'll stick to the issue of cannabis over here for now anyway. Right, let's boogie on. So guys, nice one everybody for all your comments. Nice one everybody for tuning in today. It's been a pleasure to be bringing you today's 420 news. I'll be back next Monday with more 420 news. Until then guys, stay blessed, have a lovely weekend, and keep her lit. Bye.